With the second overall pick in the 2007 NBA Draft, the Seattle Supersonics took Kevin Durant out of Texas. At the end of his rookie season, Durant won Rookie of the Year off 20 points, 4.5 boards, and 2.5 assists a game. During the offseason, after failing to get $220 million to update their arena, the Sonics sold the team to an Oklahoma City businessman named Clay Bennett. In that year's draft, with the 4th pick, the Sonics took Russell Westbrook out of UCLA. After a failed attempt to get funding for a brand new arena in Seattle, Bennett moved the team to OKC, with full intention of playing in the 2008-2009 season. The brand new Oklahoma City Thunder finished the season with a 23-59 record, finishing last place in the division, despite a 15-5 season from Russ and 25 points a game from KD. The following season, the Thunder used the 3rd pick to draft James Harden out of Arizona State, where he averaged 19 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals a game over the course of 2 years. Coming off the bench, Harden averaged 10 points and 2 assists a game, while the Thunder managed to scrape by and secure the 8th seed to go up against the Lakers. The new young trio took Kobe's team to Game 6 before inevitably being booted. The next season was better, finishing the regular season with a 55-27 record and making it to the Western Conference Finals, but inevitably losing to Dirk's Mavs in Game 5, only winning the second game of the series. In the 2012 playoffs, after taking down the Mavs, Lakers, then Spurs, the boys in blue made it to the NBA Finals, the first time in Thunder history. And let me tell you, man, this young core was something special. Also, shout out to Serge Ibaka. He's on my Mount Rushmore. Braun and Jordan can go suck it. And Kendrick Perkins was there too. Unfortunately, they had to go up against a prime Lapuki Bear, and there's only so much you can do against the Wade Bosch James trio, man.
You're my cupcake gumdrop, snickums, spickums, you're the apple of my eye.
So the season's over, and Harden's looking for the max contract extension from the Thunder. Now look, of course, hindsight's 20/20, but at the time, OKC had a decision to make. They didn't want to pay the luxury tax that would come with both signing the Beard and Serge Ibaka, who was also on an expiring contract. Not only that, but Harden wanted the max of $60 million, but the Thunder offered him a minuscule $55.5 million. And at the time, it was critical to have a solid player at the 5, which Ibaka had already established himself as, so they inevitably chose Ibaka over Harden. This led 6th Man of the Year James Harden to be traded to the Houston Rockets for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, 2 firsts and a second. Harden's 3-year stint with the Thunder was extremely solid, averaging just under 13 points a game, 3 boards, and 3 assists. Daryl Morey, the Rockets GM at the time, more on him later, saw superstar potential out of Harden and signed him to a 5-year, $80 million contract extension a few days after the trade. But nobody, not even Morey, was ready for what was about to happen.
Let me tell you, there's some guys on the court right now, Bill, who have some serious...
Oh, James Harden to the basket, and he missed it and drew the foul.
And he's got a unique blend of strength and quickness.
Anderson was supposed to start tonight, but he couldn't go because of an injury.
And they've only really had 2 practices as this team is.
James Harden hits it right to Jeremy Lin. 1-on-1, Harden finishes it off. And Omer gets the steal. Rockets off and running. Over to Harden. Harden put it up and in. Boy, there was contact.
It's Halloween 2012, and nothing is scarier than having to guard number 13. Harden finished his Rockets debut with 37 points, 12 assists, and 6 boards while shooting 56% from the field, and this was just the beginning. Harden's first season in H-Town ended with him averaging 26 points, 6 assists, and 4 boards a game. He made his first All-Star appearance and made All-NBA 3rd team. He took the Rockets to a 45-37 record and landed them in a playoff spot for the first time in 3 years. The 8th-seeded Rockets fell down 3-0 to, ironically enough, Oklahoma City. They then won the following 2 games, but eventually lost the first round. Harden's arrival to Houston established the Rockets as a consistent playoff team the next couple of seasons, even reaching the Western Conference Finals a couple different times. I mean, just look at this man. How the hell were you supposed to guard 13? This man was not human. If I have the Harden assignment, my strategy is to sit there and pray my ankles are still intact by the end of the night.
I can get on nothing, bitch, it's not in my system. It's the system, bitch, it's the system. I'm just tryna ball like a motherfucking pistol. Call a G, VIP, we might have to kill some. Chop up, bullets in your system.
Step back. Oh! A cold-blooded 3 for James Harden.
Like this. Get into a game early. Oh, what a great move. Does everything. Oh, what a move by Harden! And he drops the sledgehammer.
Down in the booth, will it take had to get up? Bitch, with my loot, what she want, she can't get none. Chicken noodle soup, chopper cook a nigga shit. I don't wanna fuck, bitch, I'm tryna get it back. And my bulletproof, bitch, get up. But I'm with my blood, swear to God, we gon' get some. I'm a world rat, if I want it, I'ma get some. Got my fingerprints on some hollow to Shawty lit some.
Just Murray and Harden.
Nigga, we gon' need some.
It's licking his chops.
Nigga, we gon' need some.
He fell down.
Beard made an all-star team for the next 8 years in a row, making all NBA first team 6 of those times. And he won the MVP award in the 2017-18 season where he averaged 30 points a game with 9 assists and 5 boards on 45% shooting from the field. He had built a reputation of being completely unguardable, one of the best scorers in NBA history, and it was absolutely mind-blowing to see. I mean, look at this shit, dog.
Or did you think it was certain to work?
I thought it was going to be.
Oh, man, Harden. Oh, he stared at Wesley Johnson, and then he hits a three. Wow. He put him on the deck, and then he hesitated, stared at him for a few seconds. My goodness.
I lost my train of thought, man.
Despite the absolutely unreal offensive performances night after night, the combination of off-court drama and poor playoff results from the Rockets have left a significant stain on Harden's legacy. Even though they made the playoffs for the first 8 years of the Beard era, they didn't once see the finals during this time. In 2017, the Rockets traded for Chris Paul, and as Daryl Morey said, with Harden in his prime, Chris Paul in his prime, this gives us a real shot to chase the juggernaut teams that are out there and puts us right there with them.
It'd probably be a little tough if tomorrow, first day of practice, we just dapped each other up and was like, yo, what up? You know, let's...
The duo led their team to a 65-17 record, and they made a Western Conference Finals appearance. Unfortunately, in Game 5 of the series against the Warriors, with a minute to go in the fourth quarter, Paul injured his hamstring. They ended up losing the series, and off-court tensions only got worse after that. After the next season, Harden practically demanded that the Rockets go out and get Russell Westbrook from OKC, who was also in the prime of his career, including coming off an MVP season, saying that he would demand a trade if they didn't do so. They played one season together, and after an early playoff exit, it was time for a change. The end of Harden's time in Houston was extremely messy. He went to Las Vegas to party with his boyfriend Lil Baby for a week rather than go to training camp. This was in the midst of the COVID pandemic, and after hosting a party, he was fined $50,000 from the NBA. Harden did end up playing in the season opener and dropped 44 points, followed by 2 30-plus point games before getting sidelined due to an ankle injury. There were months of speculation and trade talks combined with the reports of how much Harden hates being there. Harden's final 5 games resulted in a god-awful 17 points on 38% shooting, which doesn't sound that bad if you're a bum-ass role player and not James fucking Harden. This is also when certain images and conspiracy theories of Harden wearing a fat suit started to rise, and I think that shit's funny as fuck. Regardless, what followed was a mind-boggling 4-team trade that sent the Beard over to Brooklyn, where he linked up with Kevin never-heard-of Lotion Durant and renowned actor Kyrie Irving. What follows still breaks my heart anytime I think about it. The 2021 Brooklyn Nets will go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. Harden is my favorite player of all time, with Kyrie very close behind, so when I heard the news, I was ecstatic. This super team was supposed to win championships for years. Unfortunately, KD and Harden both got injured and the Nets lost in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Semis. The Nets wanted to extend the Big Three's contracts in the summer, but only KD agreed. Martin Luther Irving didn't want the 5G cancer rays that came with the COVID vaccine, so he wasn't allowed to play games in New York. The Big Three only played 16 games over the course of 2 seasons, but they were 13-3 in those games, and whenever they were on the court together, they were damn near unstoppable. A year had barely passed before Harden wanted out of Brooklyn. He made it very clear that he wanted to go to the 76ers and reunite with his boy Daryl, who was in Philly now, but he wouldn't make a formal trade request because he was afraid of how the public would react. All that being said, the trade deadline gave us something arguably more befuddling than the trade that landed in Brooklyn. Philly got James Harden, and all they had to give up was Ben fucking Simmons. Ben Street Clothes Simmons. Harden got out scot-fucking free, and honestly, things in Philly were looking pretty good. Joel Embiid had been going on MVP campaigns for many seasons and eventually won it. Side note, a lot of people discredit his MVP and blame voters fatigue because Jokic won it the last 2 years, but if y'all don't give this man his damn flowers, the process had been the centerpiece of Philly's offense, and that was not gonna change. Surprisingly, that was fine with Harden, and he took on more of a facilitator role, leading the league in assists that season, and almost 11 assists a game the following, still averaging 21 points for both of those seasons. The Beard even declined a damn near $50 million player option, instead signing a 2-year, $68 million deal to stay with the Sixers, which allowed Philly to use that money to go get some more pieces to make a finals run. Despite being coached by bum-ass Doc Rivers, this new era Sixers team had a 51-31 record, but lost in the Eastern Conference Semis, losing to the Celtics. They ended the following season 54-28, but again, they lost in the semifinals. This played into the narrative that both Embiid and Harden were not able to perform in the playoffs. This sentiment wasn't necessarily false, however, because Harden shot 7 for 27 with 10 turnovers between games 6 and 7, which were both losses. Harden had the opportunity to opt out and become a free agent again, but he had faith in his man Daryl. He opted in, keeping his bag, and was told that the Sixers would work together with him to find a trade, with the Clippers being where Harden wanted to end up. A few months of talks had passed and there was no deal being made. It was officially over when they told the Beard that they were done trying to trade him and intended on keeping him around for the upcoming season. After this, at an event for Adidas in China, Harden said this.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again. Thank you, man.
I think it's really funny that he got a lot of shit for saying this, only for Pat Bev to basically back him up, saying his own story not much later.
So we playing in Denver, and I hit Daryl Morey with the, hey, I'm getting traded. You know. No, not you. No, of course not.
So he's a liar.
The Sixers started their training camp, and you'll never guess who didn't show up. Not only was he pissed that Daryl Harvey Dent Morey didn't stick to his word, but let's be real, Harden is not a second option, and unfortunately for him, the Sixers were trusting the process. In late 2023, we saw Harden actually end up as a Clipper like he wanted. A bunch of bums and picks went to Philly, and they waived Danny Green to free up roster space. So it seems like a win-win to me. A lot of people were skeptical of this move, saying that their core is just a bunch of old washed guys. This was backed up by an extremely rough start post-trade. Through the first 5 games of the new look Clips, they didn't win a single game. With nothing special from Harden, people started having doubts, which was the biggest mistake they could have made.
Like somebody that trusts me, that believes in me, that understands me, that I'm just not I'm not a system player. I am a system.
Let's get hype and make some noise. He's back.
Until I got out of class, was scared of pocket shit. Before all this rap shit, I was game banging and doing half beats on the cops and shit. And I'm straight from the shop.
He has entered the scoring vortex.
Not only is Harden so fucking back, but the Clippers as a whole are thriving. As of recording this, they are the 4th seed in the West, and since the losing streak, they've gone 44-21 with an overall season record of 47-28. I believe that a ring with the Clippers is a ring for basketball fans. PG, Russ, and Harden all getting the first ring with Kawhi getting the 3rd. It's a lot of fan favorites that will be winning too, that's all I'm saying. I think they have what it takes. They got plenty of star power, good bench depth, good chemistry, and they have a lot of momentum. If they keep this momentum by the time playoffs come, I think they're going to be good. They've been hella fun to watch this season. And as a salty coping Suns fan, if we lose, I'm going to go for the Clips.
It's gonna be RP once your ass cold. He like fun, we knocking his capo. Another day, a new chain or a Mac ball. All this ice got me freezing like Jack Frost. That boy a bitch, that's his dad fault. If you played it, you like when you crash out. When I up in his shit, man, that's man down. And BOA pulling them bands out. DOA, bitch, I get your mans off. A rockstar from the block, I stand out. Came from nothing, I put my advance on. I hit the game with my 4 niggas ran out. Fuck it, I'm not your average Joe. When I leave the house, I took it. I'm rich, I'm shop on no budget. He catch him, all the youngin' walk him. I hop on this bitch and run it. If I said it, I seen it and done it. These little niggas never robbed nobody, ain't caught nobody.
James Harden is a first ballot Hall of Famer who changed the way people play basketball offensively and has one of the craziest offensive careers in the history of the league, even though he hasn't had the best playoff experiences. There's always injuries or drama surrounding him. Is he the problem? Yeah, probably. But at least he's fun to watch. Love you fellas, stay safe.